In the summer of 1978, the tiny town of Ottosen, Iowa, population 93, suddenly had a big problem. Not a storm, not a tornado, but something tall, hairy, and apparently obsessed with windows. Iowa had its own Bigfoot Wave. It started the way all great small-town legends do, with one sheriff, a handful of terrified locals, and a long stretch of quiet country nights that suddenly weren't so quiet. In early August, Humboldt County Sheriff Marvin Anderson began getting reports of an ape-like creature wandering near Ottosen. Witnesses said it was about 5 feet tall, covered in hair, and walked on 2 legs. A few residents swore it was a bear. Others insisted bears don't usually stand upright and peek through kitchen windows. Then pets started turning up dead. Cats, rabbits, even a dog found with its neck broken. Sheriff Anderson called neighboring counties to ask the world's weirdest question. "Hey, y'all missing a monkey?" No one was. And with that, the Bigfoot Wave was officially rolling. 2 weeks later, Anna Dodrill was washing dishes when she looked up and froze. There, outside her window, just feet away, were 2 burning red eyes staring back at her. They belonged to a black-faced, hairy-headed creature with a wide nose and absolutely no understanding of personal space. Inside, her brother sat at the table with a rifle, completely unaware that his sister was locked in a staring contest with Iowa's answer to Sasquatch. Anna said the thing stared for 3 minutes. Then she screamed, and it bolted into the night. "It was the first time in my life I couldn't move," she told the Des Moines Register. That same week, residents reported eerie night screams, broken fences, and animals gone missing. The town grew restless. Kids refused to walk alone. Something was loose out there, and nobody agreed on what it was. The very next morning, 18-year-old Robert Newell IV was getting dressed for work when he heard a strange, low whine coming from outside. He looked out the window and froze. In the barnyard, under the yard lights, stood a tall, hunchbacked, hairy figure. Newell watched as it climbed into a manure spreader, poked around like it was shopping for snacks, then leapt out and disappeared behind the grain silo into the cornfield. The whole thing lasted about 3.5 minutes. He said the creature was 6 to 7 feet tall, black-haired, and walked fast. Really fast. It seemed to know its way around the farm, which made the whole thing even creepier. Ottosen didn't just have a Bigfoot, it had one with a work ethic. By now, Ottosen was a town divided. On one side were the believers, clutching flashlights and double-checking locks. On the other side were the skeptics, cracking jokes at Twig's grocery store. Someone even changed the highway sign to read, "Welcome to Bigfoot Country." A prankster mailed a letter to Bigfoot Ottosen, Iowa, and one guy strutted into the post office wearing a monkey mask. But laughter gave way to unease. Residents found giant footprints, 2 hands wide, 3 hands long, and something unmentionable in Marilyn Schmacher's lean-to. Even the sheriff admitted, "If you're a non-believer after talking to these folks, you have to believe there's something there." Word spread fast. For several nights, Ottosen was swarmed by Bigfoot hunters from as far away as Davenport. Pickup trucks clogged the streets, flashlights swept the cornfields, and one woman called the sheriff to complain she couldn't cross her own street. Anderson sent 2 deputies to patrol and sent at least 1 truckload of armed hunters back home before someone shot their own tailgate. The joke had officially gone statewide. By November, sightings were popping up all over Iowa, from West Bend to Clarion, from Harvey to Pella. The Des Moines Sunday Register printed a full-page map of counties reporting Bigfoot encounters. Some saw hulking figures near rivers. Others found 16-inch footprints under bridges. One man near Clarion said he watched a dark creature stride across a country road. Tall, silent, and fast. It wasn't just Ottosen anymore. Iowa was in the middle of a Bigfoot wave, and that brings us to the last leg of the Iowa Paranormal Highway, right here on the Cosmic Fold, where the weird, the wild, and the wonderful meet under one big Midwestern sky.
The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
Hi.
Hey, Bo, thank you so much for helping. For the folks who may have seen that video before, sorry about that, but last time my internet just went down. It crashed and burned. And I thought rather than spending another 18 hours making a video, I'm just going to do the same one and we'll try this.
And the internet misbehaves again. Al's not with us at the moment. He is moving. He is relocating. So we hope him, his wife, and baggage arrive where they're supposed to be safely. So now Deborah and I were on a few minutes before the show, and it kept freezing up. But it did not freeze up like this. We were popping in and out. So I don't know what we're looking at. Maybe Bigfoot does not want to make a showing tonight. So, but I do want to make, in the very beginning, the first mention, I believe it's the first mention of a Bigfoot, clearly states that this being was about 5 feet tall. And that was enough to make me go, well, that does not jive with anything, any of my understanding of Bigfoot. 5 feet tall, I mean, I have friends that are 5 feet tall. And as the video progressed and the Bigfoots took size and were running through the fields, and that is more my understanding of a Bigfoot. Now, I don't know if these really exist. I have no reason to doubt that they exist. I just haven't met one or seen one.
Welcome to Rural Internet, where loading a web page takes longer than growing corn. Just refresh it. Maybe the cow can help. Nope. Rural Internet stinks.
People, we had started a live and my internet crashed and burned again. I don't know what it is about the Iowa Bigfoot thing, so we have pre-recorded some of this, stitched it together. I'd like to thank Bo for reading our slides tonight. So we're just going to go through the slideshow so we can finish up Iowa and go to Kansas's Paranormal Highway. How does that sound, Bo?
It'll be nice to go to Kansas with Toto and Dorothy.
Exactly. Oh, man. So I'll let you read and we'll comment. So
Okay.
The weirdness continues. And I tell you what, talk about weirdness with this one with so many internet problems. My God.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready to read?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Ottosen Bigfoot Wave. 1978 brought a cluster of sightings and giant tracks near farmland. It attracted state press coverage and investigators. There was a notable quote, "I'm not a nut, and I know what I saw," said Dodrell. Newell agreed. They'll ridicule about it until they're unlucky enough to see it themselves, he said. The source was numerous newspaper accounts.
And that was just such a big thing. I thought it was hilarious. And then you get all these trucks coming in and they're trying to shoot the Bigfoot and they're running around through everyone's cornfields.
I know.
So we've got so typical. All right. And that was in the 70s. So it's not one of these real old ones, but some of the old ones are these cryptid stories.
Okay, the Iowa Dragon. For more than a century, Iowans have been spotting what they swear are dragons, and not the metaphorical kind. Reports stretch from an 1887 flying serpent flopping into a Bedford cornfield to an 1890 monster over Independence with horns, scales, and a gator grin. Fast forward to Burlington, where modern witnesses describe a brown, snake bodied
Are you there?
slithering through the night sky like it owns the place. One online commenter even claimed they show up every harvest moon to snatch cows because apparently even dragons love Iowa beef. And that was from the Cryptid Wiki. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yep, your cattle's missing. It's maybe that will explain the cattle mutilations we did in another
There
part
you
about
right.
Iowa.
Right.
It's the dragons. Oh gosh. This one's quite famous.
Is it really? I like the wings. I mean, the colors. Van Meter visitor, 1903. Back in 1903, the people of Van Meter, Iowa, didn't have smartphones. So instead of filming the 8-foot winged creature with a glowing forehead horn, they did what any self respecting Iowans would do. They grabbed their shotguns and opened fire. For several nights, prominent townsmen blasted away at what came to be called the Van Meter Visitor, a bat-winged, light-beaming, stinky monster that shrugged off bullets, hopped like a kangaroo, and finally vanished into an abandoned coal mine. 120 years later, that same mine is quiet, unless you're camping there after dark, in which case, good luck. Today, the Van Meter Visitor Festival keeps the legend alive every September with live talks, tours, and enough folklore to fill a corn silo, courtesy of the Des Moines Register. Wow, that was interesting.
That one's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it stinks like a Bigfoot. It jumps like a kangaroo. And they still celebrate this thing. It's quite the story.
Yes.
You got to love those Midwest festivals up in Wisconsin, where I'm from. They had like the Muskie Festival, these big ugly fish that you could find there. They had the Apple Festival. They have like all these festivals. So in Iowa, they have the Van Meter Visitor Festival. Oh, Lord. Okay, here's another cryptid. And good luck
Oh
pronouncing this
no.
one.
Lake Okoboji monster.
Wow, that was good. That was good. One of us is frozen here.
And blaming it for boat flipping and goosebump inducing splashes for more than a century. The legend began in 1903 when Mr. and Mrs. Charles Bartlett were out for a peaceful row and saw something churning in the water hard enough to nearly capsize their boat. They decided it was either a lake serpent or a fish the size of a skiff, and wisely rowed for their lives. Nearly 100 years later, in 2001, a woman and her 2 kids spotted a dark bluish-green creature with snake-patterned scales and a head somewhere between a lizard and a horse's. It glided toward their dock, took what looked like a long breath, and then slammed into the support post so hard the dock shook, sending the family sprinting for shore. So, whether you think it's a giant fish, a prehistoric holdout, or Iowa's own personal nestie, one thing's for sure. East Okoboji Lake has a habit of making even seasoned anglers believe in monsters. Thank you, Cryptid Wiki.
Can you imagine catching one of those, fishing?
I think I would just shit
It
and
could
drop
be
dead.
something, though.
It could. That's just it. That is why I love this show, because the stuff we talk about could very well be.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
And we look great. And Keith said, "Any tech, you're a dick."
Oh, I don't get it. It was working just fine until we come on for this show.
We went on air. I know.
It worked on everything else.
I know. I thought it was such a grand idea to show up early, and
Okay, well, while that's uploading, I think this video came up, so let me play this.
Summer of 1964, a couple was driving along the Mississippi River on S. Concord Street at night around 11 p.m. As they were driving, the woman, a Miss Clarissa Bell, pointed out something weird in the river water. Almost immediately after, something horrendous reared from the water and raced across the road after the second sighting, when it began to be taken seriously by the media. The couple barely had time to make out what it was, and the man, a Mr. Sampson Brown, slammed on the brakes. They stopped and thought that they had hit whatever it was. Clarissa Bell, terrified yet, stayed in the car as Sampson Brown got out to check it out. While the car had been splashed with river water, it was undamaged and they returned to town, only mentioning it as an oddity to their friends. It was in late winter of 1969 that the second reported sighting of the demon was made. In this instance, the demon was seen by a married couple, Jolene and Hank Miles, and their friend, whose name has been forgotten to time. It was once again by the river, this time on River Drive on the way home from Credit Island Park. The demon emerged from the river's icy surface in a sudden in front of the car. Jolene Miles had, when the couple reported it to the newspapers, described it as ugly and vile, almost like a disfigured raccoon with the most god-forsaken tentacles. Surprisingly, unless a frequent reader of such newspaper reports where witnesses that were together frequently contradict one another, Hank Miles had left out the comparison to a raccoon and described it as almost catfish-like, except with tentacles instead of fins. This description was the same as their friends, except in that simple comparison. In the 1970s, reports grew of this event until a climactic encounter in the fall of 1975. Unlike most of the reports, this one was not involving a car, but rather a private boat ramp in Davenport Harbor. Lee Anderson and his current mistress, Brittany Cooper, were putting their boat into the harbor at night when the water began to emit a strange light, as if there were searchlights underneath the surface. They were close together when suddenly the boat tipped, sending them both into the water. Barely escaping, Lee Anderson reported that his mistress had fallen in and drowned, and that a thing with tentacles had attacked the two of them. He had burn marks on the left side of his body, which he explained by saying he was electrocuted. When the body of the mistress was found, it was burned completely to an almost unrecognizable point, except for the face. First deadly encounter led to Lee being charged with manslaughter, despite his reporting it as an animal attack, and the wounds being nearly impossible for the man to make, without specific equipment. Lee Anderson was sentenced to prison. He committed suicide a week after being let out on parole. Throughout the 1970s, several more reports were made. By the 1980s, when the last major newspaper report on the Davenport demon was made, which was an event similar to the first death from the demon, it had become a local legend. To this day, it is unknown if the Davenport demon is real or if it was simply a scapegoat for accidents and murders. While there are some people who claim to have seen it still, none of these stories have been widely publicized and have merely been mentioned by people who live in Davenport.
I think I'll take Bigfoot any day over that thing.
Yeah. Tentacles.
But
Iowa's mysterious skies. Okay, I know what that's a picture of. Iowa has reported strange lights and craft for over a century. From early airship tales to Cold War radar chases, the Hawkeye State has seen it all. UFO sightings continue to be logged by national databases.
Where's it? There it is. Oh my God, look at the changes in direction. That is creepy. The fuck? Uh-oh. 2. Well, maybe that's just the star. I'm trying to focus on this one. I gotta zoom as far as I can. That's moving. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, we're standing in our backyard looking at the sky. I'm trying to hold my phone as still as I can. And these two little lights are doing all kinds of crazy little things. Up, down, around, side to side. It's crazy. And this other one just appeared. I can't find it now. Did it disappear? I see the one. The other one disappeared, didn't it? I know, I see it. It's over here. Come on, pick it up. My phone's not picking it up for some reason. Oh, shit. Come on, man. I don't know. That's weird. Come on.
It's very light. It's about to pass by another one. It's moving. And it just moved out of the other one's way.
Okay, where?
Straight up above me. Up.
I'm looking. Oh, that way. I'm sorry. Straight up. I see it. Oh, if I can try to get this thing on video.
Of course, my neck is hurting like hell.
Yeah. Well, let me see if we can find that thing again. Did it disappear on us?
I don't know. Give me a second. No, it's still moving.
I'm trying to find it.
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Where?
5 moving.
Point them, please.
Let me see your phone.
Here, it's wherever it was in the sky real good, and now it doesn't. I don't know why. I don't know where it changed. It was doing so good too. Man, I'm following that one. It was great. I don't know what happened.
1897 mystery airship. In early with near Hastings, Nebraska, where townsfolk saw a glowing object about 800 feet up, bright, silent, and unnervingly alive. Soon, sightings spread through Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, and Michigan. In Davenport, citizens alternated between scanning the heavens and scanning the tavern menus, wondering if the Flying Dutchman, as locals dubbed it, might swing by. Witnesses described a cigar-shaped craft about the size of a bus with a blinding front light and 2 smaller colored ones that blinked like eyes. It hovered, darted and occasionally glowed brighter as if posing for the Victorian paparazzi. By April, newspapers were in full frenzy. Some were joking that it was a hoax, others claiming it was powered by whiskey fumes. A Professor Jorgensen popped up in Waterloo claiming to be the pilot until his airship was revealed to be a 40-foot wooden prop made by pranksters behind a cheese factory. When the dust and laughter settled, the skies went quiet again, leaving behind only one question. Was it a hoax, hysteria, or Midwest's first UFO sighting? And that's from the Davenport Library. That was great.
That 18, I think maybe people were bored and just, whatever, because it's. Oh, gosh. All right.
Sioux City Mystery Plane, 1951. Ooh. On a cold night in January of 1951, air traffic controllers in Sioux City, Iowa, spotted a strange red light about 8,000 feet up. And they weren't the only ones watching. A Mid-Continent Airlines DC-3 piloted by Captain Larry Vinther and co-pilot Jim Bachmeyer was in the air when the lights began blinking back in response to their radio calls. Vinther said the mystery craft was as big as or bigger than a B with it pulled off an impossible maneuver, zipping from below their plane to flying 200 feet alongside them within seconds. You can't turn ordinary planes that fast, Vinther told reporters. Well, within days, newspapers nationwide were buzzing. The Air Force said it was probably a B-36 bomber, but even Project Blue Book's director admitted that explanation didn't fit. Over the years, the case kept resurfacing, like in Life magazine, congressional UFO hearings, and modern books about alien encounters. Well, whatever the Vinther and Bachmeyer saw that night, it wasn't just another Midwest weather balloon. It was one of Iowa's strangest unsolved flight stories. That's from the Wikipedia.
And there's a bunch of newspaper links in the Wikipedia, but that one's kind of interesting that it keeps resurfacing.
Yes. I wonder why. Oh no.
Well, probably because nobody's ever really explained it. Huh?
Yeah. I
Okay.
said, I went, yeah, never mind. Council Bluffs, UFO, 1977.
This is about. Now, during this time, recall, while this is going on, there's big feet running all over the place. So.
That's right. On the night of December 17th, 1977, something fiery and strange fell from the sky over Council Bluffs, Iowa. More than 40 years later, no one can explain what it was. Around 7:45 p.m., witnesses saw a glowing red object drop into Big Lake Park, followed by a blinding flash and two arms of fire leaping into the air. When people rushed over, they found a molten lava-like blob about 6 feet wide, still glowing orange with a bluish core. It was so hot it set the grass on fire. Police and firefighters confirmed it was real metal, hard, heavy, and impossible to bend. both Epley Airfield and off.
Yeah, who knows how to say that?
They denied that anything in later analysis revealed the substance was just plain high carbon steel, common in manufacturing. That didn't help much. It wasn't a meteor, plane, or satellite. None of those would fall molten and leave no crater. Maybe it was a hoax, though it's hard to imagine anyone hauling 2,500-degree metal in a tiny foreign car for a prank. The only other theory comes straight from the X-Files, that the metal was not from Earth at all. Perhaps molten debris ejected from a falling alien craft. However, failing alien craft. I knew I saw that wrong. However unlikely that sounds, the mystery of the Big Lake Fireball remains one of Iowa's strangest unsolved stories. Half science fiction, and all molten mayhem. Historical and Preservation Society, part of one, blah, blah, blah.
You know what's interesting? Did they have satellites back then that could have crashed? I mean, I don't know.
77, when was Sputnik?
You know, I don't know what that was, but it had to have been some kind of space debris, I would think, crashing down.
Yes.
Because it wasn't like the metal was alien in any way, but it definitely was metal, and all these people, for it to make the historical society, I mean, that's not like tinfoil hat stuff, so something crashed there. Just glad no one was underneath it when it fell down.
Yeah. That is really interesting. Miscellaneous weird stuff. Ladies in white nightgowns roaming the streets.
You'd notice that female ghosts are always wearing these white gowns. I don't get it.
Digs in the sand. The mystery of Hog Island. In the spring of 1902, people living along the Mississippi River near Muscatine, Iowa, began to notice something strange. A small cabin boat had appeared at the foot of Hog Island, and inside lived a man no one seemed to know. He kept to himself, rarely seen. And when he did appear, it was always the same scene. He'd step out of the boat with an old shovel and begin digging furiously in the sand along the riverbank. He worked fast, like a man chasing time. But the moment anyone got too close, he'd drop his shovel, run back to his cabin boat, and disappear inside. The Muscatine Journal sent a reporter to find out who this man was and what he was looking for. Neighbors said he'd been there for weeks. He almost never spoke. "I've got water enough." And then he went silent again. Those who approached after he vanished found his holes. Huge cavities in the sand, 8 to 10 feet deep, as close together as the shifting current would allow. He dug with incredible energy, as though his very life depended on it. No one ever saw him take anything from the holes. He just kept digging. That's when the rumors started. Some said he was a treasure hunter, searching for gold from sunken steamboats or hidden river loot. Others thought he was after pearls, the kind clam diggers sometimes found in the Mississippi, worth a small fortune to Muscatine's booming pearl button factories. Then came the darker theory, that he was an escaped convict, a man who had stolen money years ago, buried it to hide the evidence, and returned to recover it, always watching for anyone who might recognize him. Still others believed he had once been a wealthy local himself, who buried his own fortune in the river during better times. But the Mississippi had shifted course, and now he couldn't find the spot again. Whatever the truth, the man never stopped digging. He stayed out of sight, avoided conversation, and worked alone under the sun and the moon. The Muscatine Journal called him one of the strangest acting and oddest individuals ever seen in these parts. And then he was gone. His cabin boat vanished. The holes filled in with drifting sand, and the Mississippi kept its secret. No treasure was ever found, no pearls, no gold, not even a name, just the story of a man who came to the river, dug deep into the shifting earth, and disappeared. Maybe he was chasing fortune. Maybe he was chasing something he'd lost long ago. Whatever he sought, the Mississippi swallowed it whole, leaving behind one of Iowa's strangest mysteries, the man who dug in the sand.
Black Angel of Oakland Cemetery. All right, let's take a look at this. Oakland Cemetery, located on the north side of Iowa City, has been the city's main burial ground since 1843. It spans about 40 acres and is open to the public, though it originally served mostly Protestant residents. Angel 19 by sculptor Mario Corbell as a memorial for Nicholas and Teresa Feldevert. Over time, yeah, I wanted to stick an R in there. There's no R in there. Over time, the statue's bronze turned dark, fueling eerie local legends. Students say if you touch or kiss the statue, you'll die, unless you're a virgin. And pregnant women are warned not to walk beneath its wings. Despite these spooky
It's a prudish thing, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Despite these spooky tales, the Black Angel remains one of Iowa City's most visited and photographed monuments, appearing in novels, films, and even a rock music video. And this is from Iowa City website and Wikipedia. And regarding the image, it says Black Angel statue, Oklahoma Cemetery, Iowa. This photo was taken in 2008 by a Bill Whitaker.
Yeah, it's pretty famous. A lot of people photograph that. It's you know, and the fact that it's turning black. I mean, I don't know that there's anything paranormal about that, but of course that kind of thing always spurs stories, you know.
Yes. Yes. Oh, here we go. Stony Hollow Road. This is in Burlington, Iowa. And Stony Hollow Road may be famous for Snake Alley, the world's most crooked street, but its real twist comes a few miles away on Stony Hollow Road, a lonely country lane that locals say is haunted to the gravel. By day, it's your typical Iowa back road. Tractors chug by, cows stare blankly, and the only drama is a slow-moving pickup. But once the sun goes down, everything changes. The air gets heavy, the crickets go quiet, and even the bravest locals suddenly remember they left the oven on. Legend has it, a tragic death in the 1800s left a restless spirit wandering the road, one who still greets those foolish enough to visit after dark. Some say if you stop and call her name 3 times, she'll appear beside your car. As I haunted road, proving that in Burlington the real curves aren't in the pavement, they're in the stories. And only in your state. Oh wow, that's creepy.
That is, and that's the real road. I just used AI to put a ghost in there.
You did good. That looks great. Oh wow, what's this? A fine of $5 for running, jumping, or swinging on this bridge. Not more than 20 people. Yeah, I would think not. Oh, Lover's Leap Swinging Bridge. This ought to be good. In Columbus Junction, Iowa, the swinging bridge, also known as Lover's Leap, has been swaying over its ravine for more than a century, creaking with both history and heartbreak. The original bridge, which was built in the 1880s out of salvaged barrel wood, was meant to save pedestrians a long walk around the gorge. Since then, it's collapsed, been rebuilt, and even dropped 2 teenage brothers straight through the planks in 1920. The teens somehow landed upright and unharmed. Locals like to say they were lucky, or maybe someone up there or down below was looking out for them. Local legends says a grieving maiden, heartbroken after losing her lover in a battle, leapt to her death from the cliff, and now her ghost still wails beneath the bridge. Others whisper it was a tale of unrequited love gone terribly wrong. Either way, the story gives the old footbridge a reputation that's part romantic, part spooky, and makes every moonlit crossing feel just a little bit like walking hand in hand with a ghost. Atlas Obscura. That's a 1908
Yep, they even made postcards about that.
Wait, wow, I'm seeing that.
Oh, I would be terrified to go over that thing. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I wouldn't. So, if you thought Iowa was just corn and calm, think again. It's clearly corn and chaos. Buckle up, because our next stop on the Paranormal Highway is...
I'd like to thank Bo for reading our slides tonight. What do you think about Iowa after our Paranormal Highway series?
Iowa is really interesting, and it's quite the little eclectic mix of goodies that they have in there. So.
It is. Some of these little Midwest places kind of surprise me because they seem kind of bland when you're riding through them, and then it's like, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. You know what's good about this is if you ever go traveling, now you know places to stop. I mean, I definitely want to see if that bridge is still there.
Oh, I'll drive
and
by.
Go to the Dragon Festival.
I'll go to the Dragon Festival, but I'll drive by the bridge.
So anyway, thank you. Our next, let's see. So I guess we're doing a show here next Saturday, and it will be Kansas. Wednesday with Denise, Helen, Bove, and me. We're going to have, we're going to talk about all these comets that are coming in. Did you happen to see the Lemon comet, Comet Lemon, that came? I tried to see it and it was cloudy out here, so I didn't see it.
I did not step out to see comet activity and the meteors, but I'm interested in talking about them because I know we're having a wave of them.
Yes, it's highly unusual.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes and our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.